Well, meanwhile, Israel's military has presented a plan to get more aid into Gaza. The army says as many as 500 trucks a day could soon be delivering supplies.
We are constructing the northern crossing, a new land crossing from Israel into northern Gaza, to enable more aid to flow directly to civilians in the areas that have been challenging for the trucks to access. We have worked with international partners to bring in more aid from the sea via the port of Ashdod, after which it will be transported down to the crossings into Gaza.
Well, let's look at this with Bob Kitchen, who is Vice President for Emergencies at the International Rescue Committee. Welcome to DW. And what sort of difference do you think this announcement will make?
Thanks for having me. It remains to be seen, in short. We've heard this before, that there'll be an increase in aid coming in. And over the last few days, we have seen a slight uptick, but it's gone from a trickle to a small flow. It's nowhere near the scale of humanitarian aid. The more than 1 million people that are now on the doorstep of famine urgently require. And it's not just the trucks getting in, it's the safety environment inside the Gaza Strip and the permissions that Israel have to provide aid organizations and the UN to be able to move around, to transfer and to distribute the aid. They're sorely lacking right now at the moment.
The deaths last week of those aid workers, that has damaged your faith in assurances from the IDF?
The attack on World Central Kitchen was a tragedy, but it's not the only attack on aid organisations. The IRC and MAP UK's compound was bombed in January, as have many other organisations. So the trust in the deconfliction system has been shaken many, many times. And it's not just that, it's the day-to-day requesting permissions and them being denied, even though the needs are massive.
Last week, Israel also announced that it would open the Bet Hanun crossing in the north of Gaza. And today we have the IDF saying a new crossing will open in the north. So is it your understanding that there should soon be 2 aid crossings into the north of Gaza?
I was just in Gaza. I just returned last night, spent 3 days on the ground talking to partners in the United Nations. What I heard there, while I wasn't permitted to go to the north, was that there is only one under consideration. It's a newer crossing further to the west than Erez. So none of them are open right now. We'll have to see in the coming days.
And what did you see when you were in southern Gaza?
I saw the great destruction that we've all seen on the news. That was a given. The level of destruction is severe. But what I also saw was a massive population that has been displaced from the north to the south, with multiple displacements along the way, now sheltering in Rafah in the southern city, which pre-war was 300,000 people population, and it's now close to 1.5. The burden on that small town with so many people now sheltering, trying to get away from the violence, from the incessant and indiscriminate bombing is evident. There are tents everywhere. There is no open land in the whole town as people have flooded in. There's not enough aid even flowing there, never mind the rest of the Gaza Strip. So the situation is desperate, as has been confirmed today by the US government, that famine is now a thing in the north. It's a risk across the whole strip. So the situation really is desperate, and I saw that firsthand. So
even if aid is delivered at the rate promised by the IDF spokesperson, that's still not going to be enough?
I don't think we've heard the scale that they're promising, and we've definitely not seen it to date.
Up to 500 trucks, I'm told.
So up to 500 trucks equals just about the number of trucks that were going in pre-conflict. What we've seen between then and now, though, is a complete destruction of much of the infrastructure, the total displacement of a large portion of the population, and the total annihilation of any food security. So to say we're going to get back to pre-conflict levels is woefully inadequate. We have to double, triple, quadruple that level to catch back up, to help people recover. And for that to even be feasible, there needs to be a ceasefire. We can't help people stabilize, put back on weight, move away from famine if they're terrified every day and night of ongoing attacks, which continue. I was woken up on Tuesday morning by missiles being fired from battleships offshore onto Rafah. It's incessant all the time.
Thank you for joining us and painting such a vivid picture. Bob Kitchen from the International Rescue Committee.